Here we go.
All right.
Hello. Welcome to episode 27 of the Whiskey Podcast. I'm Chewdada.
And I am Nate Fu.
And it's hot as balls out here.
It really is. I think the thermometer in my car was sitting around the triple digits, and then...
Yeah, we got some actual humidity.
Yeah, our weather...
It was like Florida.
Our weather apps were saying 94, so somewhere in between, let's split the difference and say it's 97. And yeah, the humidity is definitely at a peak today. I wouldn't quite say Florida, but it's definitely Flori-bama.
Yeah. That's a state line that's not going to turn into a good band anytime soon.
So, yeah, if anyone's actually keeping an eye on the dates here, we're 1 week from our last episode, and there's kind of good reason for that. One, it means we're getting our lives back on track. We're actually able to...
Oh, yes, the drinking part.
Yeah, you forgot the drinking part. It's the Whiskey Podcast, and you're letting it swelter over here. Yeah, we're getting things back on track. We're able to record a little more often, and there is also a good chance that we may not be doing one next week because we have a charity stream coming up for Guardians MH. But we maybe...
do a special stream.
Do a special episode there and have some of the guys come on. We're still in the talks with that one to see how we can schedule that.
Yeah, and as far as getting our lives back together, that's a lie. I mean, you're on mandatory overtime at the moment.
Right. I'm basically having my job's equivalent of an IR right now. We have a flight program that was scheduled to have it had its maiden flight. Yes. It had its maiden flight, and now it's trying to get production models in the air, and they were hoping to have that first flight happen in July. And if you're looking at your calendars, that's probably a real tall order. So, yeah, we basically got escalated to get the parts that go on that plane, because we're involved in about 4 different systems on it, get them certified, and do safety of flight qualification on them. So, yeah, we went from having nice, chill 8-hour shifts to possibly, going round the clock, and so my whole shift got modified. I'm doing anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, and they're actually looking at possibly going over that, depending on the needs.
And yet, remember, our adoring fans, all 2 of you, that he's still here for you.
It's because I actually love doing this. You make fun and you jest, but this was, I actually wanted to make it a point to get on here and at least continue conversation, because quite often both of us get tied up in the minutia of parenting and everything else going on in our jobs that come Sunday or Saturday, whenever we decide to, carve out an hour or so to get a case of the fuckets.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like sometimes they just, pull the chair out from underneath you, or if the chair breaks. That's not a metaphor. Literally, as we were sitting down to record this episode, the chair broke underneath me.
Just
I'm
absolutely,
not self-conscious at all right
absolutely now. Disintegrated it, and yeah, it's just because they sit out here all day in the sun and bake.
And the chair is older than all 3 of our girls put together.
Yes.
But...
So it was bound to go. It just happened to go
under my fat ass.
I laugh because and my wife came out and saw that and goes, well, yeah, that happened to me, and it was literally after a conversation where her grandfather, as tactful and pleasant as he was, had just looked at her and said, you're getting a little fat. So she came out and she's like, I'm not fat. Sat down in this plastic chair that absolutely just obliterated itself out from underneath her. And I couldn't help but laugh.
Mm-hmm.
As much as that was probably the wrong thing to do. And it was at that point, we weren't married. So the fact that we are probably says a lot for her. And my youngest is actually out here because my oldest, is out here because she missed Daddy today for some reason and wanted to be out here. So, but she's being very well behaved. Come on.
Stand right in front here and
in between the two lights. Turn, look at the camera. Say, hi, everyone. Okay, back to playing.
Oh, no, we've got her in front of the camera now. No, don't touch it, don't touch
Sweetheart,
it, don't touch it, Lovey.
Don't touch.
No.
Sweetheart.
Brooke.
Okay, go play.
Thank you.
That was our fault. We allowed it.
We'll allow it. There will be no penalty on the field.
That'll all come out in edit, except for maybe a little quick hi.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Just the evil face coming in on the camera there.
So sticking with format, since we're kind of jumping all over the place, what are we drinking today?
I don't even know. What are we drinking today?
We are drinking a Barrowman Superior 12-year blended Scotch whiskey, and
it's nice.
Yeah, it's good. I was reading up quick tasting notes on it, and it's a blend of 14 different Scotches. So
is this like the Colonel's blend?
11 herbs and spices, yeah, something like that. But because it's a blend, it's very consistent. There's nothing strong about it.
Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah, but it's nice and mellow. It iced up nicely, even in 100-degree weather, and it's relatively inexpensive at $28 a bottle. So
can't complain with that,
right?
Not one bit.
So again, not a knock your socks off. We're not celebrating anything just yet. In fact, we were supposed to be having.
Yeah, we were supposed to be ticking the last box off of my Father's Day list, but because of your last-minute overtime and other things with life, we decided that my little one was not going to do her first sleepover at your place this weekend.
That would have been a little tough for my mom, your mom. My wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We're not going to take that out in post.
I might. Unless you want to edit it, and then you can leave it in all you want. Yeah, my wife would have had to possibly wrangle all three solo. Maybe a little help from our mother. That's mm-hmm. My brain was working. It was just working faster than my mouth could keep up. Happens often.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with the potential of me possibly working 12 hours and a 9:30 start time, that wouldn't get me home until 10. So it was decided that maybe we should do this next weekend when things aren't so hectic, like when I'm trying to coordinate and direct a charity stream. But hey, at least I'll be home sitting in front of a computer for that, and I really only have to check in once every couple hours to do the handoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, by the way, I'm not expecting a video to be ready or able for that charity stream. Putting it out there now, Joe. Sorry. But part of that whole reason you guys are going to take her is because Mama Bear is now going to 3rd grade this year teaching.
Right.
And she moved classrooms, so she went from not having to bring anything in to having to completely build out and set up a classroom from scratch.
Right. I mean, she had a bunch of stuff, but it was not for that grade, right?
It wasn't only for that grade. It was she had been in what's called a job share.
Mm-hmm.
So she was part-time with someone else's already established classroom.
Right.
So now she's got a blank canvas that she has to fill up with books and the furniture, the materials that they use. All of that has to be created from scratch now.
All right, Ham. Honey, you can't be in front of the camera, or you're going to have to go inside. Okay. Go take your leaf and go play in the sand, please.
Hey, you want to just come sit in my lap? And you can watch everyone on the screen? All right. Here's the ham.
Don't break the chair.
Yeah, right? I don't need that. See? There you are. Hi.
Doesn't quite work that way, but hey.
So.
Don't end the stream.
She just ended the stream.
Did she just stop your recording?
No. She switched us back to the intro video again. No. Okay, if you're going to do that, you're done. Okay, you're done. You're going inside. And now there's so much sand on my keyboard. So much sand. When you need to listen, lovey.
All right, it looks like we're...
This will all be edited out.
Yeah. Except for out of the video, because...
I don't edit that.
Right.
But ain't nobody got time for that. So, I think at the moment she's turning an outdoor device into some sort of siege weapon to get back at me, so... If I suddenly disappear off screen, either this chair broke also, or she's getting her revenge.
So where were we?
Yeah, so Mama Bear has to build out the entire classroom from scratch.
Nice save.
And that means everything. And she's had some stuff from past classrooms that she's able to bring in. But the other fun part is, and I think we've mentioned this before, at some point we had a critter living in our garage.
Oh, right, yes.
And so going through the boxes, there were like half of the boxes, chewed up and eaten out. As far as, the cardboard just missing and gone.
Right.
So we had to try and put those pieces together and bring it in without everything falling apart. And hopefully Mom Bear's able to get rid of that urine stench on them. So.
Yeah, I lucked out, if you could luck out, from moving that classroom this weekend.
Yeah.
Because,
You went to an extreme to get out of having to help your sister-in-law.
Have I ever what? Burnt what?
And thank you, Mama Bear, for fetching the distraction.
Bye-bye, Brookie.
This is literally our lives. Normally it's filtered.
Well, filtered by a sliding glass door and recording during naps and downtimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to deep extremes, and volunteered my services, was voluntold, to come in this weekend so that I can, specifically get out of helping you move that classroom.
Makes sense. I mean, we all knew it. So. But no, so that's been the on top of everything else fire for the week. But kid-wise, all the kids are so freaking smart. It's more prominent each and every day.
Right.
My daughter has now made the point of going in and sitting under my desk and playing with the keyboard and mouse that are there for my backup computer. And she now knows that she can hold the button down for power for longer than the 10 seconds necessary to force a restart, even if that's turned off. So the nice thing about Mama Bear going back in to teach is I'll get the office to myself, which means the first thing I have to do is reorganize it and get all the computers off the floor.
I think I might have some more weekend shifts coming up.
Yep. You've got a feeling?
I got a feeling, yeah, deep in my bones that...
Yeah.
But no, that's going to be fun. It'll be nice to reclaim that space. That's one thing that was very much a weird adjustment over the pandemic was, not that we mind having the wives home.
Well, especially now that I'm working from home.
Right. Especially now that you're working from home. That needs to be a little more isolated and segregated from the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Right, and I had my little man cave, stream cave, whatnot, that, I effectively lost while the wife was home teaching, and I have mine back, but, all the equipment's still in there. So yeah, that'll be nice to kind of reclaim that space and use it for...
Good, not evil.
Good, not evil, right?
Well, we keep talking about all this content we're going to make, and it'd be a lot nicer to do it in air conditioning than out here in the 100 degrees. Uphill both ways, the sunshine.
Right, we've got to do some more, I guess, sound deadening, of that space before we can really use it to our advantage. Because as much as I love doing the outdoor cast and kind of I edit out as much as the ambient noise as possible.
Maybe I'll go get a couple of nice leather chairs to put in there.
Hey, there we go. Mm-hmm. Won't be able to have my cigars though. Oh darn.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to use that during our breaks. What else? Yeah, no, this week has been slammed for work. Has been slammed for family. I think every day this week they had some major trip planned, which meant that not as bad as normal, but your girls were over at every point. I think I've now had several meetings where the door closed doesn't mean anything to your girls. No. So
we established that at a last episode, where a closed door means come talk to you about the death of Fish Family. Mm-hmm. And that extends to, less vulnerable spaces, still somewhat protected. I'm just
happy when your oldest and youngest are wearing clothes when they come into the closed doors when I'm having a meeting with a client. Because that's not always a guarantee. That is very rarely a guarantee.
Camera angles are everything.
Mm-hmm. As you can see from this one, I'm actually 160 pounds. It just looks like I'm 240 pounds because of this camera angle.
It's 160 just from the waist up.
Mm-hmm. 160 just from the waist to the abdomen.
But I guess since the last episode we had, my youngest is now 3, and you and your wife had your how many year anniversary? Is it?
It would be 3.
Also 3, right?
Since your youngest was born 2 days after our wedding.
Yeah.
Because we can't have a wedding without you guys trying to steal the spotlight. You guys are always attention seekers, but I get it.
I mean, she's watched Friends long enough to know about stealing thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently she didn't take that advice to heart. But so 3 years, congratulations. Little
3 years to your youngest.
Bang into my mic. Yeah, so that was...
And your wife's birthday was in there as well.
I think we got hers before our last episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just work here.
Yeah. And it's just her birthday. It's, no big deal. 36. Nobody's...
Oh, yeah, put it all out there. She's almost getting to, the hill to get over. She's getting old.
He says this. He's got the older of the 2 sisters as his wife, who's, we're hoping for another geriatric pregnancy. Sometime in the future. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, shove.
Not until the new year or we even try. Because there's this little thing called insurance.
Yes.
And for all of you out there that are thinking...
Well, that's another aspect of, I guess, your wife going back to work is... I'm assuming she's going to get better insurance, or...
So, last year she had good insurance. The same insurance through the district. And she'll have the same insurance this year. The conversation now, though, is disability. Because normal medical insurance won't cover, leave of absence for pregnancy.
Really?
And for maternity leave. So, you need to get some sort of disability insurance and have enough time with that disability insurance for them to give a certain amount of, basically what it's called a paycheck protection.
Interesting, okay.
So you can still collect a certain amount of income, even if you're on leave for your maternity. And so in the hopes that we don't have number 2 and then suddenly lose half of our income, we have to run those numbers. Believe it or not, you guys actually did that.
I don't remember. Mm-hmm. I just remember working my butt off. With my first one, we had banked up enough sick time that when it came time to take paternity leave, my HR department was, oh yeah, just go ahead and fill out this paperwork, and once you go out on it, you can submit it, and disability will pay you. And I went, you know what? I've got 275 hours of vacation. I'm taking the time off for paternity leave, but I'm funding it out of my own vacation because I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to deal with any of that disability nonsense, and then having
less for us as it is for the missuses.
Yeah, and repaying of my premiums. So
yeah.
I was very fortunate with that, and then with the second one, I only took a week.
Yeah, I mean, even think about that though. But that is such a. How many people out there have a kid and don't have any kind of payroll protection? Don't have any kind of that kind of ability saved up. And what happens if it wasn't a kid? What happens? We have a friend of the family's who was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
And so she had to take time off for treatment and things like that. And other teachers in the school district were volunteering their day off, their vacation times, to try and keep her as an employee just so that she can continue to get health insurance.
Right. Or, heaven forbid you come out here to record a podcast and absolutely obliterate another chair. And other than the comical side of it, do, lasting damage.
Yeah, fuck you.
But no, I mean, that's the reality is if you get injured, there
aren't a whole lot of options.
Right. There's a whole lot of gray area on what's on the clock and what isn't, for workers' comp or disability in this case, because you're at home.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be nice to have her consistent insurance, but you definitely have to plan ahead. Mm-hmm. And again, I consider myself fortunate that I have enough banked in vacation hours and at this point savings and investments that.
Speaking of planning ahead, I'm sure you've heard. Also, I'm not sure you've heard, but apparently, the decision has been made. Should Mama Bear get full time with teaching this year, because there's the possibility the person she's job sharing with will not be continuing in the district.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Yeah, we're all going to Hawaii next summer.
Okay.
So plan accordingly.
Okay. I think I'm currently sitting on 248 hours of vacation time.
Yeah, no, but the trip and the hotel and the spas that the girls are going to want to go to. By the way, that's what the girls did this past weekend.
Hey, well,
nice transition there. Yeah, for our anniversary and your wife's birthday.
My wife's?
Your wife.
Yeah, there you go.
They decided to do a spa day all day and leave us with the kids. During said spa day, it turns out that my daughter watches your daughter way too closely, and when your daughter decided to do a cannonball, my daughter, who's only on lesson 4 of swimming, decided she needed to do cannonballs also.
And yet the 3-year-old, no interest. The 3-year-old
will not go in the pool,
interest. Yeah,
unless someone twists her arm excessively. So, yeah, guys, come on.
It's amazing.
Keep it interesting. Well, that's why my heart palpitations are high.
When anyone says that there are consistencies in raising children, there isn't. It is literally a mixed bag between the 3 that are here, and we've got at this point 3 girls within 3 years of each other. Mm-hmm. They couldn't be any more similar, but
any more distinct.
Distinct. They were all raised in the same environment, and we've got one fish, one that has just wants nothing to do with water. One that
head first into everything.
Yeah, none fucks. Literally, will run head first into everything. Is very much emulating my first, but far more easier to, sleep.
Yeah.
And
for all of you though that say, "Now you got girls; those are easier compared to boys. Boys just roughhouse all the time." No. I'm pretty sure I've now watched a couple of UFC fights between the 3 girls, when they're all laughing their ass off. But I'm pretty sure, one of them's going to end up getting the people's elbow in there.
And my money at this point is on yours.
Oh, yeah.
Because
mine is, the youngest of the three by at least, a year and a half?
Something like that.
Yeah, by about a year and a half, and weighs just a pound or two less than your youngest, and she can hold her own.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's been oppressed and beat down by the other two for so long because, shit rolls downhill.
Oh, yeah.
My 4-year-old beats up my now 3-year-old, and my 3-year-old can't fight back with her, so...
And she's been pressing the steel ever since, gotta keep up with them.
Passes it on down, and now, the little Ewok is finding her bearing. I just want to
point out, the Ewoks, as far as I'm concerned, were the most tactically superior soldiers in the entire Star Wars franchise. And my Ewok is proving that.
Yes.
Day after day. So, between what she's able to put together, I am beyond terrified.
And we now have all 3 of them enrolled, or just the 2 youngest?
The 2 youngest are enrolled in this company called My Gym, which is basically, the whole point of it is it's an indoor play area, but it's designed to give younger kids the ability to learn group play and individual play habits and, that kind of thing. So it helps the transition into schools and larger activities, especially after this pandemic.
Right. It's been very big on socialization.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we have the oldest is taking her dance, her ballet and tap.
Yeah.
Right. Which she's having a good time with that. It's weird because it's, outside of the classes, she just does what she does, as if you were on the video feed here. She just comes in, and she's just her own independent person, and will butt in wherever she can, and...
She's an independent woman who don't need no man.
Right. My big fear with her has always been trying to establish some sort of structure.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'd say all 3 of our girls benefit significantly from schedule and structure.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that they're going to go with it every time, but, I have a routine with your youngest when, I'm watching her and she needs to go down for a nap.
Mm-hmm.
I have her down for a nap in 5 minutes. There's no fighting. There's no complaining. There's, she may try, but, I'm consistent, and she goes to sleep and naps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she's still asleep right now, and that was an hour and a half ago.
Right.
So...
She is very good. She's very bad about wanting to go do the nap, but once she gets there... That's I am very thankful for that, because that is definitely not the case with my oldest, and that's been her since day one.
Yep.
The whole concept of napping was and is and probably always will be a battle.
Yep.
So
she was the first, and none of us had really established boundaries across the board.
Well, some of us haven't. Some of us did.
Mm-hmm.
Not a knock on our wives. But,
no, and I'm going to distance myself from this. I love you. Don't hurt me.
Because they both come out here and protest.
Mm-hmm. You think she doth protest him?
Well, I was actually waiting for something to pop up in the chat here. I hear you. That's not true.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
To which I say, start your own podcast on,
Yeah, we keep telling them to do that. We're waiting on it. What else has been going on? Where are we on time, first of all?
Oh, we're fine. We're under half an hour at this point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, transitioning now. So this last week or so, I've been working with Richie Bob and the Dog Pound Community Group. And the dedicated hosts that we're working with for gaming servers have just been awful.
Oh, yeah.
They have hardware that doesn't even respond. You can't even connect to it. It won't acknowledge the connection, and they don't do anything about it. We had a week and a half where you couldn't physically connect to the servers because there were issues.
Well, you guys were running on, I guess you had a managed host for a long time, and then what would happen with that?
Nothing. Like, we would contact them for help and solutions, and they'd say, yeah, we'll work on it. You need to do all this stuff first, which we'd already done and told them we'd already done.
Gotcha.
It would go anywhere. So eventually, Richie made the decision to, you know what, screw it. We're just going to do a dedicated server.
Right, self-host, basically.
Yeah, we're basically going to be, we rented a bare metal rack and popped in a server, which we're renting for like $65 a month, and able to host 4 servers on that of our own with full control of everything and, significantly higher performance capabilities. And we tested it. We set it up on Friday. Mm-hmm. Tested it Friday night under a severe stress test. Basically gave everyone in the community admin rights to it. And, it wasn't until they started spawning in 20 to 30 of the bosses at the same time that the servers crashed. But
you trusted your community with admin rights.
No, we needed to break it. And we saw what the threshold was. And in 90% of the time, we will never reach that threshold. So with that being said, we're like, all right, we can get 3 of these bare metal racks for about the same cost of what we were charged at the discount host provider, managed service provider for it, and we have full control over everything. So
what did you learn from this whole experience?
Cut out the middleman. No, honestly, it's really simple to do it. There's plenty of research out there. It's just experimenting and going from there. And from a pure cost standpoint, I think overall we might pick up a 4th box instead of just the 3 boxes we were looking at.
Right.
And we can host whatever we want entirely on our own. And it's a little more technical than what the team has been used to in the past.
Right.
But it's entirely ours, and it's entirely flexible.
Now, as someone that's not part of that community so much, other than, kind of sitting behind you and...
Mm-hmm. And your daughter trying to get me eaten by the dinosaurs. Well,
no, the most I've been involved in that so far is you occasionally bounce a question off me as far as, infrastructure stuff, which, when if you're doing a managed box on a rack, which I'm assuming that's the case, you're renting someone else's server, so they're managing the connectivity.
All they're doing is managing it, and we have the box dedicated to ourselves.
But they're in charge of uptime and...
Yeah, they have to maintain uptime, they have to maintain
trunk lines.
Bandwidth to it, and trunk lines,
And then any port forwards or whatnot that need to be established.
From their router and modems or firewalls or anything like that. Everything on the box, basically it's like renting a apartment. We are painted.
Gotcha.
Everything that is the physical or the
it's a very good analogy.
Is ours.
So, what's the business model? Because I hear a lot of expenditure, but I don't understand the dynamics as far as recouping those costs.
So, in a lot of cases, if you look at typical servers, let's look at an ARC server, for example. An ARC server without any mods on it from the server side requires 1 to 2 cores of availability and 4 to 6 gigs of RAM for roughly 20 people on it. So, we are only going to build servers or build maps out so that there's only 4 game servers on one physical server at a time. Others will try to put 5 to 7 servers on a single box with the intent of, at a minimum of $20 a month per that, you start gaining price quickly.
Right. But I mean, if you have low volume, you have it's their little party servers, 6 to 8 to 10 people on each server.
Exactly.
That's okay. You can do that.
And you know what though? But that's why a lot of these companies are starting to have issue is they get a certain investment to begin with and grow from there, and then rather than continue to maintain that stability and support, they just keep adding on wherever they can find open space.
Right.
And so you end up with far more servers and far much load drawn than can be handled. And so that's one model. The other model is they just simply use Amazon AWS.
Right.
And you pay a fixed amount, and then they throttle you to keep you under that amount.
Yeah, I mean, my experience in that has been limited to, at one point in time, a good friend of mine worked at a, what would you... It was a spa and tanning business. And for whatever reason, the owner of this company was just like, I want a T1 connection to my small spa for dedicated access. They wanted to host their own website in-house. Well, I mean, this is back in the, I want to say, late 90s.
Right.
When
that was not even...
Yeah, where it was actually cheaper to host your own web server than it was to farm it out to someone else. So he wanted this web server up so he could promote his business and host everything and do all of his, they were doing online reservations, online appointments long before a lot of places were. And he over-invested in this to the point where, again, he had a DS3 connection going into this little shop in the middle of Simi Valley that my buddy and I were looking at going, we're not even using a quarter of this capacity. And so we brought in a couple of our own machines and started hosting Unreal Tournament servers on it. And as long as we were, doing the bulk of our business from 6 o'clock on, never interrupted business.
Right.
And now you have entire Minecraft communities, Roblox communities, Arc communities now that are doing these hosted servers, and I honestly I don't understand the business model enough to go, how are you?
Well, the business model is literally, the middleman is renting someone else's servers to you, and you're paying for tech support.
Right, but how are you monetizing? Like, how are you justifying the expenditure?
Right. Well, and that's what it comes down to is it may cost them $15 because they've got so much of it, and they're charging you $35 for the same thing that they're then spreading out over 4 people.
So in your Arc community, in this case, Richie Bob's and a Ladybugger, I'm assuming?
Richie Bob, Ladybugger, Red Sybe. We've got I think those are the main...
How are they funding this?
Oh, we're funding this as a community entirely through, what Richie Bob gets for subscriptions.
Gotcha. So it's literally coming off of his profits.
He doesn't necessarily care about making a profit on on the streams or anything like that. All that gets reinvested back into the channel or into the community in some capacity.
Oh, I mean, that's... I appreciate that he does that, because that's one of those, like, I didn't know if it was like, hey, for $2.99 a month, I'll give you access, which is an option.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of subscriber only servers out there. But what he does is you just have to follow and watch 10 hours. So that, the 10 hours are, if you're a troll, you're not going to spend 10 hours in the stream. So just, go in and be a troll. Right. So that's literally, you follow everyone, get 10 hours in one of the streams for, the streamers. And then, once you're able to prove that, you get invited in if you want. And so with that, we've got a lot of moderators keeping an eye on the servers and admins that are very active.
It's just, to me, it's a very interesting business model because, again, there's a lot of risk
involved. It's a loss to him entirely as far as financials are concerned, because he's covering it all with anything that he potentially make from the community. But for him,
it's basically sweat equity.
Yeah. Well, for him, he's not trying to make a buck.
Right.
This is a hobby for him, and there's days where I'm too tired, I'm not going to be streaming tonight. He doesn't stream. Right. But the community is still there. It still supports
And they support because he's providing these managed servers that are cheat-free, lag-free.
Well, that's just the servers. I mean, people are still in his stream for the sake of streaming with him. Like, hell, he played Monster Hunter last night, and there was a line of people up to help the noob play Monster Hunter. Yeah. So.
And then, of course, you're volunteering your services as well. So
I'm entirely a volunteer, partly because I feel the need to, if someone's going to do something like that, I feel the need of at least contributing to carry my own weight on it.
Yeah, I mean, and you've been part of his community for a long time at this point.
At least a year and a half at this point, I think it is. So, but now that, and I've learned more this past week about setting up these sort of servers and managing it than I would have entirely trying to figure it out on my own.
Like you're getting an inside peek on why I was able to justify an $100 an hour expenditure for that last IR we did.
Yep.
It's
but we spent 2 days setting up this first test box, and we set up the box in 2 hours. It was all the little troubleshooting and BS things that are hidden throughout that we had to figure out.
Right.
Where permissions and port forwarding, and then Windows Firewall, and then we're not to the point now, but in the future we'll be looking at: do we need to worry about a DDoS protection in there? Do we need to worry about
because again, your wall's in to that extent. That if someone does a DDoS attack, the managed provider is going to do enough to keep their equipment running.
Exactly.
But they don't give a crap about your servers.
Exactly. It's as long as it doesn't break something for them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of break,
we're going to take a quick momentary break.
Yep.
Mama Bear, the bestest in the world, brings Nate Fu more ice.
You want a couple more cubes, or?
No. I'm done with drinking for the moment. I'm gonna drink non-alcoholic.
I just, figure with the way your day has gone.
I don't know what you're talking about. Did you see the chair, by the way?
You're allowed to comment. I can edit this out.
I think we're going in the pool after this. Is what that sound just gave me.
When I'm done with this, I'm actually going and editing another podcast because apparently I picked up the editing duties for that.
You volunteered.
Well, yeah.
Say hi to the camera. Oh, baby. I got it.
That's the wife.
That's Mama Bear. And if you want to do the same thing Brooke did, it's okay.
Just keep your clothes on. Please.
So, yeah.
But yeah, again, I commend Richie Bob and Lady Bugger for doing this sort of thing. It's providing a service to the community, and it's providing a community.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the entire thing it is. Like, Richie Bob in particular, with it, since he's the one that pays and hosts it, has been running it since kind of day one, it's, there's not a decision that's been made that hasn't had community input to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says, it's not my servers, I'm just managing it. You guys are the community.
Right.
How do I make this, worthwhile for all of you? And...
how big is his community, if you don't mind me asking?
On the servers right now, we have whitelisted over 120 people.
Okay.
So that's 120 individual accounts that have been on the server at some point.
Across how many instances?
This is across all 13 servers, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not like per server. We've added them to all access to all of it, so it's not like it's going to be one way or another.
And how does Mama Bear feel about all of these ARC servers?
Well, if you want to stare into the camera and wave at it, you could just be like your niece. You sure? Okay. Love you. Bye. She's so over me right now, which is funny since she's had such a prosperous and relaxing weekend. And two. Yeah, so for our anniversary, I took Mama Bear to the restaurant.
Before you say that, and so I can give a proper edit on this.
Okay.
If you want to know what just happened in between this little bit of break, you'll have to tune into the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and find...
here comes trouble.
Yep, here comes trouble.
Hey, Mama Bear? How you doing, Trouble? Yeah, I see you. I see you. Yeah, no, you can't crawl up the glass sliding door.
So yeah, for extended shenanigans and stuff that you don't hear on the audio-only version of this podcast, you definitely want to go over to the YouTube channel, probably around the 40-minute mark,
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Once this all edits down. But so yeah, with and again, having that kind of.
Who's that in chat? I can't see. It's too small.
It's Lady Foo. It's my wifey saying wifey cameo. So, as you're chatting in chat.
Dude, we gotta get those multiple chatters and unique viewers up. Where's your posse?
All in due course. All in due course.
Well, we gotta get something up.
Yeah, once...
And that might require drugs at certain ages.
Once I start doing some more, actual streaming, there's definitely going to be some cross-promotion.
Yeah. So speaking of that, starting this Wednesday...
Well, let's finish the thought so
what thought were we doing?
So I can edit that.
Okay.
Yeah, with Richie Bob, Ladybugger, like, I absolutely 100% appreciate them literally coming out of pocket and providing spaces for their, in this case, art community to play, and then anyone else that's doing Minecraft communities.
Shout out to Silksy.
Yeah, shout out
his Minecraft community that he has shared and open to everyone.
Yeah, there's tons of them out there, and what you as a user of and participant of need to understand is these things do come at a cost. So definitely show a little extra appreciation for, if you have someone that's providing this service for you, that's providing servers, providing avenues for which you to play, make sure you support them. Because again, a lot of people are literally coming out of pocket so that you can have a place to play that isn't inundated with cheats, inundated with...
Nothing in life is free. And just because it may not be a cost to you doesn't mean that someone else isn't providing it at cost to them because, they see a value in it.
Correct.
I've set up a separate 7 Days to Die server. That's right now just Ladybugger and I for occasional streams. Whenever a gamer does a giveaway, it's a good chance that money's coming out of their pocket because they want to, participate with their community. Hell, was it Admiral Baru just did a $50,000 art contest.
Right.
Where he was giving away $50,000 in awards to people that were already doing fan art.
Right. And you've got other users.
Hello, user.
Other creators like Young Khan that gives away emotes and gives away artwork and
gives away tablets.
Yeah, gives away tablets
like drawing Wacom tablets and things like that. He gives them away. I think every Friday night.
Our buddy Dizzy that we're in talks with. One of the things he and his wife do is they occasionally they get together, and if you've accumulated enough channel points, we'll give you emotes. They will design emotes for you. So, and again, these things cost money, and a lot of times the only thing they ask in return is for viewership and word of mouth because it gets metrics up. Much like, and you don't hear it often at the end of our cast. We say, rate, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff. It's
if you like what you're hearing, please hit follow and give us the thumbs up down below.
But I mean, you hear that a lot from people, and what most people don't understand is that it bumps metrics without asking anything to come out of your pocket.
Yeah, we
could set up a Patreon. We could hide stuff behind a paywall. Some people do hide some content behind a paywall. Like She Snaps has a huge community, and she still has a side Patreon that she does other special stuff for people that contribute, and that's kept her. Kept her able to.
None of this is a knock on anyone who does things like this. It's the diversity of what's out there and how people interact, how they value different things, and that is, I think, the important part here. Just because someone isn't providing you everything for free doesn't mean you're entitled to it, or they're doing something wrong or malicious.
Right. But the least that you can do, the least out of pocket you could do is lurk, watch, word of mouth. I mean, one of the biggest names in the gaming community at this point is Professor Barrowman, and he got his start just on word of mouth.
Most people are just word of mouth when they get started.
Yeah, Dr. Lupo, word of mouth, and hit his break on the most random freak occurrence that he had in a game with another streamer that also had, an up and coming rise in the community, and then the two of them together, like, just skyrocketed. So, yeah. Like, if you see these communities out there that are doing these sort of things, setting up servers, doing, a lot of the back-end work, understand that they're making a safe space, again, out of pocket, off their own backs, and the least you can do is at least, drop them a follow, drop them a like, even if you don't, drop them a subscription to their channel, and if there's something you enjoy, share it with your community. If you like what we're saying here, all I ask is share it with the community. Say, hey, this whiskey whippy. Yeah, welcome to having a stammer. The Whiskey Podcast is something I enjoy. So,
yeah.
Now, where were you going?
I have no idea. I don't remember who I am at this point.
Oh, we were coming out of the break with the wives, and you had a thought you were.
Oh yeah. Speaking of us developing more content, beginning Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, we'll be playing a Gloomhaven.
Oh, sweet.
So there is a Gloomhaven game, early access on Steam, but I'll be picking it up with a couple friends and starting to do the multiplayer version.
That's going to be the our other friends. Is it just going to be the husband or husband and wife?
Husband and wife.
Nice.
So they'll be doing that. Right now it's just me. Anyone else that wants to join, give us a heads up and we'll go from there.
Sweet.
But it's kind of a 1 hour, at least a week commitment. We'll be doing that. And then looking to put more content out there. As some of you may have seen, I started a 7 Days to Die Twitch integration War of the Walkers mod server with Ladybugger. And basically it's Twitch integration, so the Twitch channel has the ability to help or hinder the streamer while they're playing, through spawning, weapons or spawning zombies or buffs and debuffs or any of those sort of things.
So literally like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a mod, I think there still is, called Mischief Maker. That was bits, but I think right now we're playing, just, participate in the channel,
right,
and you'll get points to be able to throw at us. So that's something. I need to figure out an exact day I'll be going live with that.
Interesting. All right.
So that'll be a commitment. We've got this going on. We need to reach out to the Dizzies and find out what kind of schedule we're looking at for our updated content with them. And, in your free time, if you want to develop any additional content up there, let me know.
Free time.
Yeah.
You're funny.
Dude, I've got just as little time as you do. And you're already pretty, so you don't need as much beauty sleep as I do.
Oh, stop it. Yeah. I'm surprised that, I didn't end up with a lump on the side of my head, because for whatever reason, my cat decided they were going to climb across the top of my headboard, and we have one of those captain's beds with the cabinet-type headboards. My cat decided, close to midnight last night, to get up there, rummage around, and knocked a coffee cup off. So about 1.5 feet drop, and he caught me right above my eye. That was a great way to wake up.
Is this the same cat that was trying to go fishing in your fish tank?
Yep.
Nice.
So speaking of mischief.
Our own little mischief maker. To subscribe to this mischief maker, all you have to do is, I don't know, show up. He's kind of an asshole, not gonna lie. But he's cute. Alright, what else we got?
I think I just lost my recording.
You just lost your recording? Well,
I think I just lost my recording.
The camera just went dead.
Yep.
So, Well, I guess that's as good a place as any to end because, well, shit. So with that, from episode 27 of This is a Clusterfuck of the Whiskey Podcast, I'm Chewdada. Nate Foo's over there. He'll get back to you as soon as he can. You can find us on all socials. But please, like and follow Debuff Dad on Twitch, on Twitter, and come find us on YouTube. We'd appreciate it. So with that, thank you all.